Good day, class. After we finish discussing the nature of teaching and teacher roles, particularly as a person and as professionals, now we will continue our lesson. This time, focusing on the teacher roles as community leader, social advocate, model of character, and expert. Okay, before we dive into our lesson proper, I want you to do this pre-task. It is entitled Symbols of Leadership and Advocacy. All you have to do is to design or think of a symbol that represents the teacher as a community leader and a social advocate. Your symbol can be through in a form of drawing or digital illustration, a metaphorical object, or a short written description or poem. Then afterwards, write a short explanation of this symbol. Explain why did you choose the symbol, how does it reflect the teacher's leadership and advocacy roles, and what values or actions does it represent. And then afterwards, submit your output in our Google Classroom. So just look for the particular folder where you can submit your output. Okay, after creating a symbol associated with teacher as a community leader and social advocate, now we understand that in this era marked by rapid social transformation and complex community challenges, the role of teacher transcends the boundaries of the classroom. They play an important role in the development of people and communities. They're no longer confined to instructional delivery, and they are called to be community leaders and social advocates, in which they perform the role of agents of change who shape not only minds but also societal values and collective futures. We can see from John and Ed Philpott 1994 concretized this idea by encouraging a stronger link between home, school, and community through effective programs developed and implemented by teachers. So we all know that as community leaders, they foster civic engagement, they promote inclusive development, and catalyze grassroots initiatives that uplift our marginalized voices. While as social advocates, they champion equity, challenge systemic injustices, and model ethical citizenship through both pedagogy and praxis. So ultimately, the teacher's role as a community leader and social advocate is not an extension of their profession, but it is its very essence.
My dream is that I wanted to lose my job. I wanted to lose my job because I wanted the Filipino community to be prepared, to be resilient, that they don't need someone like me anymore, an emergency professional working to make sure that the schools are safe, because they themselves, they already know how to make themselves safe. They know what to do in times of crisis. My name is CJ Feria. I'm from Teach for the Philippines and I belong to cohort 2017. So initially, I applied for the fellowship for myself because I wanted to get something valuable, to do something good. And then when I joined the fellowship, my why changed because I feel like every single day that I'm waking up and going to school, my why now becomes my students. They are the reason why I wake up in the morning, the reason why I wanted to be inside the school, inside my classroom and teach. I'm a city boy, so I live in the city, but during the fellowship, I was placed in an island community. I teach in an island school. In my third day, there was heavy rain. And then the thing is, you can literally see waterfalls inside my classroom. And you can really see my students, their feet are on their chair because my classroom is already flooded. And I'm competing with the sound of the rain, so I need to shout in order for them to hear my voice. That's an overwhelming experience for me because I have a different experience back in the city. So at first I'm really shocked, but I need to continue because I see so much hope in the eyes of my students. Amidst the difficulties that they're experiencing, the rain, their feet are getting flooded, I can still see from their eyes that they want to learn. They still want our class to continue. And so that made me continue as well. Currently, I work in the Department of Education. My office is called Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Service. We are the office in charge of making sure that our schools and our learners are safe and that we work for the learning continuity amidst disruption. So basically, our work revolves around education in emergencies. Every single day, we receive reports because there are a lot of hazards in the Philippines. We experience typhoons, we experience earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, fire, even or armed conflict situations. So every single day, we receive reports from schools. These schools asking for support. Some days we receive requests from the teachers themselves asking us how we can train them on building culture of safety or perhaps doing mental health and psychosocial support services, or those kinds of things. Because aside from developing policy, our office is also in charge of capacitating this field offices in the Philippines and also the schools, what to do in ensuring a culture of safety in our schools, in our field offices. My favorite part is definitely talking directly to school leaders, to field office personnel, and also to some of the learners, right? It's always a happy moment for me listening to the stories and how we can be of help to them. They call us to share, for example, a new building has already been reconstructed and that they're so happy because they have a new building, a new classroom that they can use. I feel like the fellowship experience is what led me to be in this position. My experience inside the public school is the reason why I'm doing all the things for the Filipino children. For example, there's a disaster, you'll see me the next day I'll be on the field and assessing damages in our schools. And I feel like in that collective leadership landscape that we're talking about, I wanted to be that someone who is willing to be in very difficult situation just to make things easy for other people. I hope that one day all Filipino children will have access to excellent, to relevant, to resilient education. And when I say resilient education, that all students will now be safe. They don't have to think about whether they would go to school because their school is already destroyed after a disaster.
Okay, class, after we have watched the video of teacher CJ Feria and we reflected on his significant contribution to the community, I want you to focus on this one and to reflect on this. I believe that teacher is an everyday leader. But what do you need to be a teacher leader? I want you to think whether you consider yourself as an initiator. When we say initiator, it is someone who really proactively identifies opportunities. You generate ideas and you take the first steps to implement them. Also, in this type of leadership characteristic, you really excel at recognizing the need in your organization and you take action to address them rather than waiting for the instruction. Also, are you a knowledgeable leader in which you leverage your expertise to make informed decisions, you guide your team effectively, and you also foster a culture of continuous learning and improvement? And as a knowledgeable leader, you must be stay updated on the industry trends, particularly in the music education. And you have this desire to actively seek to expand your knowledge. And another one, are you a modeler in which this type of leader really leads by example? Do you embody the qualities and behaviors you want your team to see within your team? Kasi if you have this approach, you foster trust, you inspire confidence, and you encourage others to emulate positive actions and work ethic. So I want you to reflect on this if you already emulate these qualities. Okay, at this point, let us talk about 6 points on teacher as a community leader. So we all know that teachers are not only educators, they are embedded civic actors whose influence extends into the very fabric of the local community. And one of the most tangible expressions of this leadership is that teachers are part of the local community committee, particularly on the child protection, education, and welfare. So we know that teachers really play a vital role in safeguarding our children's rights and well being. For example, they help in early detection and reporting. They are often the first one to notice signs of abuse, neglect, or exploitation among their students and making them essential in early prevention. Then, afterwards, these teachers will also participate in policy implementation wherein they really enforce child protection policies within schools and ensure alignment of this with the national laws such as RA 7610. It is about the special protection of children against abuse, exploitation, and discrimination act. And likewise, teacher as a community leader also contribute through community education. So through outreach and parent engagement, they raise awareness about child's right and protective practices. That's why sometimes you will see your professors, your teachers doing extension projects or programs to the community. So this leadership roles aligns with the SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals targets, particularly in SDG 4 about quality education, SDG number 16 about peace, justice, and strong institutions, and SDG number 3 about good health and well-being. So in these qualities, it really shows or reinforces the teacher's identity as a transformative agent of community empowerment. On point number 2, we know that teachers play a pivotal role beyond the classroom by advising on key education matters such as curriculum relevance, student welfare, and school community partnerships. So their insights help shape policies and programs that reflect local needs and aspirations. As leaders and organizers of community activities, the teachers mobilize stakeholders for initiatives like literacy campaigns, environmental drives, and youth development programs. This fosters civic engagement and strengthening social cohesion. So their dual role as educators and community catalysts makes them essential to inclusive and sustainable development. For our point number 3, teachers act as advocates for quality education and the holistic development of children and youth. They champion causes such as child protection, literacy, human rights, health and wellness, and social justice. So, through their daily work and community involvement, they help raise awareness, influence policy, and foster environments where our learners can thrive academically and socially. This time for our point number 4, wherein teachers always take leadership roles in their communities, especially in activities and projects related to the education and welfare of young children. A good example of it is that when a teacher might lead a weekend reading program at their local barangay center, organizing volunteers and resources to help our young children improve their literacy skills while also promoting parental involvement in early education. For our point number 5, wherein teachers provide leadership roles in various cultural development programs in their community. A very good example of this is when teachers spearhead the organization of a Buwan ng Wika celebration in the barangay, in coordinating cultural performances, traditional costume exhibits, and local storytelling sessions. So through this initiative, they're able to promote Filipino heritage. They're able to engage youth in cultural appreciation and strengthen community identity. For our last point on teacher as community leader, Teachers provide technical and professional assistance in the local communities where they belong. One of the fourfold functions of our faculty members in URS is to conduct extension programs or projects in our community. A concrete example of this role is when our teachers or faculty members assist barangay officials in developing literacy and numeracy programs not only for our school youth but also to adult learners. They help design instructional modules, they train volunteer facilitators, and monitor the learning progress of their clientele, ensuring that the community education initiatives are pedagogically sound and inclusive. So, this technical support elevates the quality and impact of local development efforts. Okay, class, this time we would like to see another role of a teacher as a model of good character. So, teachers as a model of good character means that educators exemplify the values they teach, such as honesty, respect, responsibility, and compassion and integrity, both inside and outside the classroom. The teacher's actions, words, and decisions reflect integrity and ethical behavior, inspiring the students and community members to really uphold similar standards. So, by consistently demonstrating good character, teachers help shape a culture of moral excellence and social responsibility. I want you to watch this video of a Metrobank awardee, Mr. Edgar Ardorana, who happens to be our alumnus of URS Angono.
Pangarap ko maging guro. Nagsimula yun nung high school. Talagang na-inspire ako sa mga science teachers ko. Pag nagtuturo ang mga teacher ko, wow, gusto kong maging teacher din sa hinaharap. Yung early career ko talaga, nagtuturo ako ng science, particularly physics, biology, ganun. But in 2004, bigla na nag-iba ang aking career. From science teacher, naging SPED teacher na ako. Kasi nung 2004, may mga deaf graduates from Tayuman Elementary School at need mag-enroll sa high school. During that time, walang high school dito sa Binangonan na nag-o-offer ng SPED program. Ang aming principal na itap ako, ikaw na lang ang papadala namin sa Philippine Normal University para umattend ang scholarship training para hawakan yung mga learners with auditory disabilities. Since then, yung commitment ko talaga sa pagtuturo ng SPED talagang lalong lumalim. Yung pagiging innocent nila para sila mga anghel. Habang nakikita mo sila, yung passion of learning nila, yung dedikasyon nila, yung resilience nila, determination nila, pumasok araw-araw, talagang nakaka-inspire. Nung nagtuturo ako ng regular, ang kailangan mo lang gawin, you have to prepare mabuti yung lesson mo. Iba ang dating kapag nagtuturo ka ng SPED eh. From lesson plan preparation, gagawa ka ng learning materials, kailangan hindi lang pangkaraniwang learning materials ang gagawin mo. Kailangan i-integrate mo yung mga different pictures, kailangan mag-iisip ka ng interactive games dahil yung mga imimit mong bata, yung attention nila masyadong limited eh. Kailangan talaga, pag humarap ka sa kanila, talagang maa-amaze sila, may encourage mo silang mag-participate. Habang dumadaan yung maraming taon, nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming katuwang para mapalawak pa yung SPED program. Kakaroon na tayo ng sariling kwarto, itong SPED Resource Room. Kakaroon na tayo ng maraming learning materials. Ang pinagkaiba, pag nagtuturo ka ng SPED pati, extra patience, extra understanding, kailangan yung empathy mo talaga to the highest level. Kailangan mong intindihin mabuti yung bata. And from that, magagamit mo yun to think na magagandang strategies kung paano mo tutulungan yung bata to provide them the best education possible, pati yung support. Before the pandemic, nagkaroon na talaga ang program ang DepEd. Yung mga learners with disabilities, kailangan ay naka-integrate. Ang tawag doon ay inclusive education. Kung ano yung education talaga na maaaring makuha ng isang regular, kailangan din ay makuha rin ng mga learners with disabilities, inclusive education. We also empower the receiving teachers, yung tatanggap, yung mga advisor, pati yung mga regular students sa magiging kaklase nila. Kapag na-meetan nila yung mga learners with disabilities, ay kaya nilang pakisamahan, gawing kaibigan, at tulungan. Kailangan nandun yung inclusivity. Project B, Inclusive Education Ready in the New Normal. Nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang main objectives sa Project BIE Ready. Yung una, yung makapag-develop ng session guides para siyang training plan sa mga receiving teachers. Yung pangalawang naging goal pa ng Project BIRED, yung mag-come up with simplified and modified learning materials na gawa ng receiving teachers namin. Kasi nga, ang problema ay hindi masagutan ng mga SPED natin yung learning material. Mahaba kasi, kailangan i-simplified, i-modified, lagyan ng mga pictures so that pag binigay natin sa mga learners with disabilities, kaya nilang sagutan. So, yung mga materials na binigay sa amin ng Rotary Club, ginawa na naming Sustainable Income Generating Project. Ang pangalan ng sabon namin ay SPED Wonder. So, ginagawa yun ng aming mga learners with disability. Para siyang bonding time na rin. Hindi lang paggawa ng sabon Ang dinidevelop doon ay yung transition skills sila. Kahit pa paano, kapag gumaraduate sila ng high school, kaya nilang gumawa ng sarili nilang business. Maganda rin naging project natin dito, yung community partnership with TESDA, Binangonan. Hinihiling na mag-provide ng scholarship para sa mga SPED. Kahit na meron silang kapansanan. So, nakagawa ng cake, imagine mo, gumagawa ng pizza, kinakaya at kaya ng ating mga learners with disabilities. Ang Alay Pag-ibig project para sa PWDs ng Binangonan. Through that project, we were able to foster a sense of community. Ang naging main goal nito is to showcase the talents of learners with disabilities. Kasi nga, iniisip natin, mga PWD, dyan lang yan sa bahay. Hindi. Pinapakita namin sa Alay Pag-ibig na meron pala silang talents and potentials na kailangan lang ma-recognize ng buong society. Rewarding yung bukasyon na ito. Na-realize ko yung aking mission na binigay sa akin ng Panginoon as a bringer of hope and positivity sa buong community. Yung mga ngiti nila, kahit pagod ka, parang mapapangiti ka na rin pag nakita mo sila Gagawin ko to dahil nga yun yung naging aking commitment talaga na maging boses sa mga PWD at gawin ang best ko just to give them the best education possible and support.
Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipino, Mr. Edgar R. Durana.
Okay, at this point, let us talk about teacher as an expert. We know that a teacher as an expert embodies deep mastery of the subject matter, pedagogical skill, and contextual awareness. They don't just know what to teach. They understand how and why learning happens. So, as a teacher expert, they have this knowledge of content. They have this pedagogical content knowledge, meaning they know how to organize and represent the content. Furthermore, they are capable of diagnosing learning gaps and tailor instruction effectively by having a knowledge about their learners. And they have general pedagogical knowledge in which they are able to integrate theory with practice, making complex ideas more accessible for them. In addition to your role as a teacher as an expert, you must have the knowledge of educational context, meaning you have a deeper understanding of the current issues and policies that shape and influence the education setting. Another, you must have curriculum knowledge. You know how to align teaching with curriculum standards and institutional goals. And lastly, you must have the knowledge of educational ends, purposes, and values. You model critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and lifelong learning. So therefore, an expert teacher is both a content authority and a learning architect. You're shaping the minds with precision, empathy, and insight. As we end, don't forget the 4 C's of a teacher. So what are those? Number 1, creativity. the ability to design engaging, context-sensitive learning experiences. It involves using innovative strategies, integrating technology, and adapting pedagogy to diverse learners and evolving challenges, meaning think outside the box. Next, critical thinking. So, as a teacher, you must have the capacity to analyze, evaluate, and synthesize information for sound instructional decisions. As an expert, you foster inquiry, you challenge student assumptions, and you guide students in navigating complex issues. We also have commitment and character. So for commitment, as a teacher, you must have a deep dedication to student success, their professional growth, and institutional values. It reflects consistency, resilience, and willingness to go beyond your comfort zones. And for the character, you must have the ethical foundation of teaching. Ulitin ko, integrity, empathy, fairness, and respect. This shapes how you as a teacher, you model values, you build trust, and cultivate inclusive and compassionate learning classrooms. Okay, now that we're done in the discussion, the reflection question is, are you ready to take on the various roles of a teacher? One teacher with multiple roles. It's only you who can decide and can answer that question. So I want you to reflect on that, and afterwards, be ready for our online quiz. Thank you, my dear students, and have a blessed day.